Welcome to Behind the Scenes with Sav. I'm Savannah, digital creator, tarot reader, entrepreneur, and podcast host. On this show, we get real and expose the unfiltered experiences of life. Are you ready for all this? Let's get started. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with Sav. I am your host, Savannah. Today, I am bringing you an episode that is unique and different, but when I was looking at information regarding this topic, I couldn't find any. So coming at you fresh off of a new experience, we are going to be talking about the Unicorn Crew. So let's get into it. For those of you who are not familiar with the Unicorn Crew is a kind of a subcategory of I Heart Raves, which is a huge rave and festival fashion brand online. They have brand ambassadors that they send to pretty much all the big time festivals in the United States called the Unicorn Crew. If you follow I Heart Raves on Instagram, they're at I Heart Raves, and the unicorn page is at I Heart Raves Unicorns. Every festival, they recruit or accept applications from so many people, but usually the Unicorn Crew for each fest consists of about 4 to 6 girls, and they will send the girls outfits for every day of the festival. Their tickets are comped, and these girls basically act as brand ambassadors for the brand over the course of the festival. If you are familiar with the Unicorn Crew or have watched some of their story takeovers or seen some of their content when they're at a fest, it just looks like so much fun. They're constantly engaging with people, trading candy. I Heart Raves decks them out from head to toe in super gorgeous outfits. Usually it'll be a new collection that's dropped or something special that they're featuring with the festival in mind. So for example, the festival that I got to be a part of was Dreamstate, so our outfits were a little bit more dreamy and futuristic. All of that to say, it's great for marketing. It's a brilliant marketing idea. They're basically sending beautiful girls into the wild of the festival, having positive, long-lasting interactions, taking photos, videos, sharing with the online viewers links for them to buy these things, and overall leaving a positive impression, from the brand perspective. So as someone who's into marketing and social media, I live for this. I thought it was a brilliant idea. As someone who's into festivals and fashion and music, I love the concept. And every time I would see the Unicorn Crew online, it just always looked like so much fun and something that I could see myself doing. Now that you've got the intro, I'm going to go ahead and cover some key factors about my experience, things that I was looking for information on before I applied or even after I had gotten accepted. And I could only find one video from like 8 years ago on YouTube that didn't really depict what being a unicorn is actually like today. First up, how to apply. I got a lot of questions when I was sharing on my personal social media that I was going to be a unicorn. And while I was actually at the festival, I got some inquiries about that. And when I was monitoring and working the Unicorn Crew page as we were working together with the festival, people were also asking this question. So how do you become a unicorn? You simply apply. They have an area on their website, the I Heart Raves website. They also have a direct link from the Unicorn page. And on that page, you can apply for camping festivals or non-camping festivals. Usually they do this about 4 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks out, depending on the festival. You'll just select whether you are interested in camping or non-camping, and then you'll select which festival within that category, and then go ahead and apply. I think there are a few things that help your chances, although I can't confirm this. I just have an inkling about the factors about me that made me favorable for this festival in particular. And after talking to the unicorns that I worked with, hearing their experiences with the application process and getting chosen, some tips that may help you if you're looking into applying and ultimately really want to be a unicorn yourself. The application process is lengthy, and rightfully so. Like, there's a lot at stake here as far as from a brand perspective. They're sending you hundreds of dollars in merchandise. They're sending you to a festival that can retail anywhere from $250 to $450, maybe more, depending on the fest. And then, of course, you are representing the brand while you're there. So every interaction, every photo, every video, just walking through the festival with your crew, you will be recognized, and it's very clear that you are representing the brand and working while you're there. So of course, this process, the application process, is pretty detailed, and I think it's great that it is. I think it does a good job of weeding out people who aren't taking it seriously or who may be applying for the wrong reasons. I really went into depth as far as like asking about my favorite music and asking about my experience at festivals and my experience with the brand, all the way down to the nitty-gritty of how I would handle certain situations. If there was a discrepancy between unicorn members, or if there was an issue with the schedule, or if someone was unable to fulfill their role or responsibility, what would I do and how would I handle that? Answer with the perspective of the brand in mind. Do not answer from a personal place, because that isn't really going to get you very far, especially when there are people who are applying who are coming at it from an overall, what's in the best interest of the brand mindset, right? You are acting on behalf of the brand when you're a unicorn. So as you're applying, keep that in mind to be hopefully chosen and to get you in the mindset that you'll really need when you're a unicorn. Another note about the application process is early on, you'll be asked to select a role. And so the Unicorn Crew typically has 4 to 6 members. Usually there's 4, and there are 4 because there are 4 roles. The roles of the Unicorn Crew members are Rave Mom. Rave Moms are responsible for the Unicorn Crew takeover on their Instagram stories. They're responsible for setting up the group chat. They're responsible for being the liaison between I Heart Raves team and the Unicorn Crew members. And they're responsible for setting up the communication like prior. There's a call that you get on with your teammates to kind of understand all the details that go into being a unicorn. I was the Rave Mom, so I can attest to all of those responsibilities personally. I fulfilled them, and that's kind of the gist of that role. There's the content queen. This person is responsible for the concepts for the TikToks and the reels that we'll be recording. They're also responsible for making sure everybody gets their content in on time at the end of the festival. You have a few days to submit your content into the I Heart Raves team, and the content queen kind of helps facilitate that. And then they are also kind of the creative director. So they are helping frame shots, suggesting certain photo ops, and kind of looking at the lens of the experience through what kind of content can we make that would be good and that would be aligned with the brand. Next, we have the positively passionate baby. This role is interesting because there aren't very many concrete, tangible aspects of this role. It's more so an energy and a vibe, which is really needed, actually. We had Sochi was her name, and she was a little firecracker. She was like a 5'2" firecracker who was super positive and just fit the role well. So that role consisted of keeping the energy and the vibes high, hyping up the crew members, supporting them energetically, whether they needed a little extra confidence while shooting pictures or fulfilling any aspect of their role. The positively passionate babe would just kind of be a light and be the one who's the glue in keeping everybody positive and aligned. They're also responsible for the scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt meaning there are a few key aspects that we are encouraged to capture and share to the Unicorn Crew Instagram story. They are in charge of knowing what those aspects are and kind of helping capture those. So even though the Rave Mom is the one who's responsible for actually posting to the story, the positively passionate babe reminded me, hey, make sure we get these X, Y, and Z. Oh, there's a photo of that we can get. That's on the scavenger hunt, and vice versa. And the last role was the Sparkle Sweetheart. This unicorn was responsible for the outfit preview on I Heart Raves Instagram. So a couple days before the festival, this role would share the day 1 and day 2 outfits, either just on a flat lay, like on a bed or a table, or on their person, on their body, trying it on and kind of sharing a photo and giving the details. This role was also responsible for suggesting fashion tips, accessorizing tips, makeup and hair tips that we were all going to coordinate with our looks. We had a glitter heavy look on day 1 and then more of a futuristic, colorful look on day 2. And both of these were suggested by our Sparkle Sweetheart. If you're interested in reading them, go ahead and check out the Unicorn Crew application, and there's a very detailed description of all the roles. And then, of course, you can start to picture which role you think you would be best in. For me, naturally, I was like Rave Mom all day. All day. Although, truthfully, I could have fulfilled and excelled at all 4 of the roles, if I'm being real. And that's not being egoic. That's just, I have a lot of experience in social media, in the online world. I am a model, been a makeup artist before. So all of these roles are right up my alley. But I would say my strong suit right now and where I've been thriving a lot is in the planning and the coordinating of things. And so I knew that I could be of service in the best, most impactful way as the group's Rave Mom. That's what I applied for, and that's the role that I received, which is awesome. I didn't think too much of it, although there was a moment before I hit submit on the application where I asked myself, like, Savannah, are you sure you want to submit for this? Because if you submit for it, you're going to get it. And I felt this way because there are a few other aspects that they consider, right? They consider your proximity to the festival. They consider whether or not you can, house other unicorns at your apartment, right? Like, do you have a place for unicorns to stay if necessary? They ask if you have a car or reliable transportation to and from the festival. They ask if you can honor the commitment of being at the festival from start to finish multiple days in a row. So all of these things help them make the best decision about the group individuals. Because maybe if one person doesn't have a car, it's not a big deal. But if 3 people don't have a car, that could present a problem, just depending on what kind of festival it is and their proximity to it. My proximity to this particular festival was less than 20 minutes from my house, which was awesome. And so I knew that would make me a prime candidate in a sense. One, that tells you, all right, it's easy for her to be reliable. She's super close. She obviously has a place to stay. We don't have to worry about her or pair her up with someone else. Things like that I think made it easier. I was also willing to be supportive. So I was willing to carpool if necessary. I was willing to meet up with girls if necessary. And although that didn't come into play, being open and fully committing to the experience, I think showed that I was really wanting to have this experience and this chance to be a part of this crew, and that I was open to working as a team. Those are key points that I think from a brand perspective really helped my application stand out. And I know for the other girls, some of them had applied before to previous festivals or other festivals, some far, some big, some small, but it was all of our first times as unicorns. And you can be a repeat unicorn, by the way. That actually is my hope at some point. Well, okay, let's get real and get into our little manifesting energy. I would love to work for a festival brand doing things like this, applying my skill set, planning, my social media personality, my ability to entertain and be kind and be positive and be creative. All of these skills are very highly valued in many industries, but I think especially in the festival and dance music industry, whether it's for clothing or for products or whatever, those become even more important because they're an intrinsic part of the EDM culture. Now, I'm coming in hot, almost 31 years old now, and I'm realizing that not everybody has these skills and not everybody can utilize them in a high stress, very fast-paced environment that is a festival, right? And so that's one thing to say I have all of these things behind the computer screen, but then to actually embody them and maintain that energy and that presence over the course of 2 full days where I'm out in the elements with a bunch of people, working with people that I don't know, interacting with new people, you have to be cut from a very specific cloth. And that doesn't mean that not everybody can do it, although not everybody can do it. It just means that these are things to be aware of when looking to take on a commitment like this, because you are there to work. You're there to work and represent the brand, have a great time, which is amazing, but you got to know when to work and when to play and what things are essential to the brand, to the experience. After applying, I found out that I got the role. And even though I kind of knew that I was going to get it just from that feeling and that moment I had with myself earlier, I was still shocked. I was still shocked and a little bit disbelief, and I was so excited. And then I got nervous. The nerves hit me and I was like, whoa, can I really do this? Like, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? It just now hit me that I'm going to be doing this with people that I don't know. Well, there's so many things that could go wrong, right? Anybody who's been to a festival knows that there's always a potential for a shit show. I mean, that's to be anticipated if I'm being real. But I put those things to the side and I went, hey, look, my practice and my skill set and my qualities are what got me this in the first place. So clearly, if I was able to make it this far, I have what it takes to make it. Or at least that's what I'm choosing to believe. So very quickly after that, we set up the group chat, started getting to know each other in the group chat. We had our coordination call where we talked about guidelines and rules and things the brand is looking for and wants us to remember and kind of embody as we're there, the deliverables, things like that. And then very shortly after that, it was time for the festival. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we will get into the details. All right, so the next part of this podcast will be preparing for the role, and I'll talk about the outfits and the festival experience itself. Preparing for the role was necessary for me, especially because I took on the role of the Rave Mom, so that meant that I was responsible for our schedule, so the sets that we were going to see, and then also our communication and any fine details. Once we got our outfits, making sure that everybody's outfit fit, coordinating them, getting replacements if necessary, all that good stuff, making sure that we had all of our sets planned out, and making an itinerary, which wasn't required, but like I said, I'm a planner. These are things I do in my normal life. And so I know how to navigate something like this, whether it's a vacation or a festival or a weekend away. You got to have an itinerary, okay? And Sav's $1 million tip for itineraries: do not put the arrival time for anything. Put down the times that you need to leave in order to be at your destination by that arrival time. Does that make sense? So instead of saying brunch at 3, put on the itinerary, leave hotel at 2:30 for brunch. Because we all have those people, gotta love them, those people that tell themselves, or they see a desired time on a schedule and they go, oh, okay, brunch is at 3. Yeah, I can just throw on some lip gloss and some heels and like head out at 2:55. Honey, no. Like, no. I don't care if you're staying at the resort and the lunch is downstairs. It's gonna take you longer than 5 minutes. You gotta leave time for human error or pictures or dilly-dallying or whatever. You gotta leave time for the human in this. You're not a robot. Okay, you're not going to get, the elevator alone is going to take 5 minutes to arrive and take you downstairs. So there's an aspect of being real with myself and having a lot of experience coordinating with other people, coordinating my own ADHD self. And because of this, I know how to set up a killer schedule, a killer itinerary, and like have the overview of things communicated in a way that people can understand and honestly that people can follow. So I set up an itinerary for us. That way all the girls had our game plan about how we were going to do what we needed to do. Our deliverables were pretty hefty. I mean, maybe not, honestly, but it took a good chunk of time before we got the hang of it on day 2. So it was 10 photos, 3 videos, and 1 TikTok per person per day, which might not sound like a big deal, but we weren't just doing it to do it. Like, we were doing it and wanted all of our content to be great. The girls were amazing. Everybody took their role so seriously. Everyone was so excited and really like jumping at the chance, to be a unicorn. To know that every girl was taking it seriously, that no one was just here trying to get a free ticket and free outfit. Like, everybody really wanted the full unicorn experience, made it so fulfilling and just easy to work with one another, which was really beautiful. That's kind of what it took to prepare for the role, aside from the actual act of preparing for a festival, but we can talk about that in another episode, because the things that I brought to the festival were the things that I always bring to the festival, with the exception of a few other things. So like, I definitely made sure I bought a content light, which is amazing, chef's kiss. It's a super bright light. Maybe it's like the size of a little smaller than an iPhone, like a regular size iPhone, not a Pro. It gets super bright with cool light, warm light, a bunch of different colors, blue, purple, green, red, all the RGB colors, and then patterns within that. So I could have it strobe, I could have it flash, I could have it fade. Wonderful, wonderful purchase. I brought a little selfie stick. I brought more makeup in than I normally bring to a festival. And that was pretty much it as far as like specific things that I brought to this festival because I was going to be a unicorn. So now let's briefly talk about the outfits. So we had some great outfits. Check my Instagram if you want to see the fits. The first outfit was an underboob crop top. So it kind of looked like a tank top style crop that had a cutout, like an underboob cutout, and a high-waisted, they called them high-waisted booty shorts, but the cut reminded me of like an 80s bikini bottom. And then day 2 was more futuristic, super fun. It was a holographic under boob halter and these high-waisted bottoms that had harness ties at the base, and then the Sky Full of Stars PVC skirt. Got equal compliments on both looks, but I definitely think that the second look made more of a statement. Although the first look was great because we all had the same outfit for the first day. So we very much looked like a unicorn crew. We looked united. People were approaching us all the time. So I guess this will transition us into what it was actually like at the festival as being a unicorn. I'm actually going to pull up the itinerary so I could read it to you so you can get a sense of what our days were like and what we spent our time doing. So if you're going to be a unicorn or you're looking to apply and just kind of want to know like what the vibe is, I will give you my $1 million itinerary. So hold please while I pull that up. So I had us meet here beforehand to maybe take pictures if we needed to, but also just to get us united and get us in our own energy first before taking us out into the field. Because keep in mind, I haven't met any of these girls in person. And so I thought it would be nice for us to get out those introductions initially and kind of like feel into our energy before going out and being a unicorn in the wild. So that went really well. A couple of us carpooled over to the festival, and then we were there right when the gates opened at 3, picked up our ticket that was supplied from the brand, which was amazing, and walked in. This is interesting because I've never been to a festival at opening gates. I've aimed for it, but that hasn't ever happened. This was awesome because mostly the festival's pretty empty. There were some people who were like already at the stages, like diehards, love that for them. Majority of the people that are there and like what's happening when the gates first open are media. So you've got Insomniac Events media, you have the Dreamstate, the actual festival, their media, and then you have all the artist teams, the DJs, and their media teams are there. So it's very clear who's media. They're all dressed in black. They usually have t-shirts with their emblem from where they're from. And then they have like very expensive, very professional looking equipment, right? Cameras, GoPros, gimbals, the whole bit. Right when we walk in, I barely have put my ID in my backpack before we're getting approached by media. Oh my gosh, you girls look great. These colors are amazing. Do you mind if we get a photo of you? Oh, do you mind if I get a video after she takes a photo of you? And it was like a little swarm. And so all of us were like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, okay, let us just get situated. And keep in mind that the representative at I Heart Raves told us, and this is also like in our notes and our guidelines for being a unicorn, that we are going to get recognized up the wazoo, right? And we definitely get recognized more as a group, which is why it was so important for us to stay together the entire time. I wasn't sure how that was going to translate. I wasn't sure. I just didn't know what it was going to be like. I'm like, okay, like get recognized, you know, like you get recognized by your friends and by like people you know, right? I don't know if Insomniac knew that we were the I Heart Raves unicorns. I'm assuming they did because they're in partnership together. Maybe they didn't, and they just thought that we were cute, bright, bubbly girls who were there on time. But regardless, we were taking photographs and doing video clips for the team for like half an hour. So it got to the point, and I'm looking at my itinerary and I'm like, okay, we gotta like, you know, nip this for a little bit because we have to get our own content. We have to get our own content, right? Like there's certain things we need to post within the first like couple hours of being there. We got to get our pictures before the venue starts filling up. If you're a content creator and influencer, you know that you have to be there early to get the best shots and kind of like work before the area starts to fill up with people, and it just gets harder to move freely and get what you need to get done. This takes me into my itinerary. So if you want to modify these times or use this itinerary for maybe like a weekend or something, or even another festival where maybe you're not a unicorn, but you'd like to get some killer content, this is going to be for you. And I can put this in the show notes or make it a download too if you guys want. Just let me know, or maybe I'll just do that regardless. I had us starting at noon, getting ready, 2:15, leave for the festival. The festival started at 3 o'clock, scout for photo op. Us getting bombarded by the media team was cutting into this, but it ended up being fine. And honestly, it was a great move that we made friends with them and were recognized by them and kind of made that connection because They ended up taking some beautiful photos of us. It just represented I Heart Raves really well and us really well. And the I Heart Raves team ended up obviously seeing that. And so I think it just landed well all around. And so that was definitely a key moment. So it was great that we did that. But me and my type A planner was like, the itinerary, guys, like we gotta get our stuff going. 3 o'clock, we scouted for photo ops. 3:20, create content, prioritizing our group shots. 5 o'clock, first set. So this is our first opportunity to check out some music and trade candy. So it's a big aspect of what the unicorns do. The brand sends us bags of candy. I don't know. We each had like 250 candy bracelets or something, just an obscene amount of candy with the incentive to like trade it, right? And if you're watching the unicorns on Instagram, you're watching their takeover, you know what they look like, right? Because we have to post our outfits and post that we're at the festival. And then, you know, we invite them to come find us, take photos with us, and trade candy. So it's a big part of our interaction as a group. First set was going to be at 5 o'clock, so we could trade candy, boogie, and like have a little bit of fun before getting into work again. 7 o'clock, sunset photos. We really wanted to capitalize on golden hour, of course. That's like some of the most flattering natural light, and our last opportunity to get pics before it got to be nighttime, which we got better. Actually, we killed our nighttime photos day 2 because we knew what we were doing. But day 1 was a lot of our daytime photos, and honestly, that outfit looked better in the daytime, I think. Whereas the Xenon futuristic outfit definitely came alive at night in certain aspects. 8 o'clock, grab dinner, snacks. Hello, we got to eat. All right. None of that surviving off one chicken tender. I can't. Can we just let that joke die? If you know EDM and you know the festival scene, you know what I'm talking about. Please eat something. And then at 8:30, we did our outro after the sun had set, so people knew that we were closing up shop for the night. Obviously, we're still at the festival for its duration, so we're still having those interactions, but it was crazy windy. It was super, super windy. This festival, Dreamstate Harbor, was right on the water, right by the marina. We had jackets. We had to have jackets. We were like running around in bathing suits. So once we put on the jackets, people were still coming up to us, and it was a very small festival. We definitely were kind of a main attraction initially, so people saw us and we had lots of interactions, and we still had interactions at night, but getting most of our content out before the wind took over and we kind of had to like bundle up was key. So that was our itinerary. So see how I have things structured, but it's not like super structured. I kind of just have main points for us to have things done by, but I'm allowing for flow within these time frames, because a festival, I don't care how serious or how professional or how much you're getting paid to be or work at a festival, it still has its own momentum that can run over anything and everything. I mean, take EDC, for example, and the wind and how they had to evacuate a set and things were falling and they had to like cancel their artist interviews because the speakers, like there was a whole thing that happened there that was out of everybody's control. Festivals always have that element, and I know this because I'm an experienced festival goer, and so I planned for that. Whether or not you want to be a unicorn, or if you just want to go to a festival or have some era of like a plan in place to make the most of it, account for that. And it'll be way less stressful for you if and when something comes up. Getting back to our festival experience. So we take our photos with the Insomniac team. Amazing. Then we go and take our group shots because we have to post that we're at the festival, obviously. That's when we start getting recognized a lot. I mean, we get recognized while we're working with the media team, but people I think can see that we're busy. But still, people came up to us. You know, we had ground control come up to us, a really sweet woman. Hey, I saw that you guys were posting on the Unicorn Crew that you're the unicorns and you said to come find you to trade for candy, so like want to trade? And it was super sweet, so we all traded with her. People just recognizing that we're wearing I Heart Raves, or just seeing a group of girls all matching, all giving like Energizer Bunny energy, thought we were really cute and fun. We had great interactions with all types of people of all genders, of all ages, and it was a really fun way to experience a festival. Normally at festivals, I'm social, I would say, to an extent. Obviously more so with people that I know. And some people that I don't know. Like I would say I'm open now more to interactions with new people. But sometimes at a festival, depending on the situation, I will have to spend time just adjusting and getting my own energy right. That can sometimes impact whether or not I'm able to like interact with other people. You know what I mean? And so at this festival, though, like my priority from the get-go was to be with the group, to be interacting with people. And so entertainment Sav was on, right? Like entertainer Sav was in full force. lit up by the cameras. And you guys know me. Well, either you're getting to know me or you know me and personally or through my social media. I love camera time, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a model, I've been an entertainer, I've acted like very minimally, and I just, I do content now and I coach people on how to be confident in front of the camera for their social media. It's just something that's always come naturally to me. Like I see a camera and I light up, I instantly pose even before I knew that that's like what I was doing. So this was such a natural role for me to be in, and I really did feel alive. Like I felt lit up by being at the right place at the right time and by being in service and just really spreading positivity in a setting that already is innately positive and super loving. I had never been to a trance festival before. And honestly, like I wasn't really a trance fan. No tea, no shade, but I'm a house bunny, slowly becoming a bass baddie. And being a trance girl, I just hadn't ever really like super aligned with trance music for the most part. There are some iconic songs, of course, but I never really saw myself buying tickets to a strictly trance show. Because I was so open and willing to explore, I actually came away from the weekend with some new favorites, which is awesome. I didn't know what the trance crowd was going to be like. Wow. You always feel the love, the PLUR at a festival, I mean, ideally, but this was like PLUR to the next level, which I can't even believe that exists. I think it had something to do with the fact that the festival was 21 plus, which is nice. It definitely was a little bit of an older crowd, not old people, but just, not 18. People who are into trance, I think, are just a different breed, but a great breed. And it was so special to be a part of and be even more in service as far as spreading positivity and light through the brand with the unicorns. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So we got recognized a bunch, which was really cool, very special. Followed the itinerary and got what we needed to get done. We had to fight the wind, which was kind of intense. I'm really proud of us for navigating that. And it was such a good feeling to know that I could hand my phone over to any one of the girls and trust that they knew how to get a good picture of me. Like, do you know how big of a deal that is? Whether you're a content creator or not, like how often have you handed your phone to a stranger and went like, ugh, or even to like your boyfriend. Okay, we love the boyfriends, but it's like, honey, wipe the camera and get down lower, please. And don't cut off my head for the love of God. You know what I mean? Just like basic photography things that I guess maybe aren't so basic, but because all of us create content in some capacity, or at least we're very passionate about doing that, we knew what to look for and what to shoot. And then as we got to know each other and were able to give each other feedback and just communicate better as a team, our pictures just got even better. And it was so cool. It was so cool. It just makes me want to hang out with more content creators and more people who love this, because it is such an art. It's so nice and fulfilling to be able to have that trust, because not everybody can take a good photo, especially of you in the way that you like, also highlighting the outfit that you're wearing in a specific way. 10 photos a day might not sound like a lot, but if you've modeled before or worked in content creation before, or even just booked a photo shoot before for an engagement or a shower or something, like, hundreds of photos can be taken in a shoot. To get back 10 great photos is like goals. I think we definitely worked more day one because we weren't really sure how the flow was going to go and what to capture and how to do it, because we were all new. So then this comes day two, and that was better. Day two was like butter, like cutting butter with a hot knife. It was so ooey gooey and great. Even though day one was fantastic, day two was that plus more, because we already knew each other. We already had worked together. We were already like in our group, in our zone. We knew the shots that we needed. And so day two, again, I had all the girls come over to my house, and we actually had a photo shoot here. So my roommate is a photographer and also a content creator, and she had Father's Day shoots going downstairs. And so I was like, all right. So we all came upstairs and shot our outfit previews on the patio, which was great. Doing video content while we were also communicating like verbally at the festival was a challenge because it was so windy, which made it really loud and just not the best conditions for shooting that kind of thing. So I said, all right, we have to prioritize this. Let's do our outfit previews and our talking stuff upstairs while the wind is like calm, while we have what we need here. That's what we did. So it was great. Shot photos upstairs, shot our initial content upstairs, left for the festival. That was great. We're there again, right on time. Also right on time, the media team, they said, hey, welcome back. You girls look great. Love your day 2 looks. Let's shoot. So we said, of course. It was cool because on day 1, as we were getting some of the updates, like I mentioned, we didn't have very much service, but there was some spotty service over the course of the day, and we ended up making it into the official Dreamstate TikTok. The following us 4, like kind of walking and cheering, and they made a TikTok out of us. We also were in a little media reel for Dreamstate for their merchandise, so that was really cool. They got some great stuff of us, and they were sharing that to the Dreamstate Instagram page and the Dreamstate TikTok, so that was really cool and very like fun for us to discover, because it's like, yes, like we're doing the right thing, you know, because we didn't know if I Heart Raves team had seen anything from us or Insomniac had seen anything from us. We were just kind of doing what we were supposed to do. So then day 2, shot again with the Insomniac team. They actually featured us, literally, like we are our own post on the Dreamstate page, us 4. And then when you scroll through the carousel, it's individual shots of us. It was really beautiful. And when I saw that, like that was my teary-eyed moment of the weekend. Like I started like crying. We're just crushing this. And it feels so good because we're working so hard. And it feels so good to be a part of a team that's crushing this. On a personal level, it felt great to be recognized and seen for all that I am. And it was just this beautiful moment where I recognized how powerful the experience that we were all in was, and a moment of totality and recognition for me, because we're gonna get like side sav a little deep here, but like I have so many talents, and that's not to say it like tee-hee-hee, but that's to say it like I have so many interests and so many talents, and I'm very multidimensional, as we all are. But it's if you are into human design, it's in my human design and my astrology chart, if you're into that I am someone who has a lot of talents and skills, but yet I don't know where they come from. So like people will ask like, how are you so good at this? Or how does that come naturally to you? And my answer is always just like, I don't know. But anything creative literally just comes out of me so naturally. And so to see those photos in the moment where we're still working and there's chaos going on, but it's like, wow, in this photo is my 4 years of modeling, and is my 6 or 7 years of makeup, and is my love of fashion. I used to thrift and style and make videos around like thrifting and styling and fashion content. And that clearly is present here in this photo. And obviously my light and my personality and my love for music and for this scene is also coming through in this photo. So again, I'll have that posted down below or linked or something so you guys can check it out. That was the experience in a nutshell. I would say as a whole, to kind of tie a ribbon on this episode, my takeaways from this: definitely set an intention for applying to become a unicorn. They ask you, what you want out of the experience. And for me, I just said that I wanted to meet like-minded people who also love EDM, and the opportunity to continue to work with the brand if it aligned. So just make sure that you have a very clear intention about what you want to get out of it, because that ultimately will drive you even when you think it's not. And be open to the experience and just kind of take all their guidelines and tips, because they have a great system for not only setting up the unicorns for success, but also onboarding them and supporting them while they're out there doing their thing. If you can just lean into that and really commit to the experience and give it your all, you will definitely get that back, which is really beautiful. Thank you all so much for your support on this podcast and for all of my social media content and efforts. I appreciate every one of you. Your feedback and your support allows me to continue doing what I love doing most, which is sharing my experiences with you and inspiring you to live a more fulfilling life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will talk to you all very soon. If you're taking away a little inspiration or wisdom from today's show, send it to a friend, post it on your socials, or leave a rating and review, all of which help to reach more listeners like you.